Welcome to Blended Healing. Trauma can come in so many different forms. It is so important to make sure that we don't judge trauma by individual experience. What is traumatic for one person may not be the same for somebody else, or it might manifest itself in a unique way. Pain and trauma go hand in hand, and it has an effect on how we view the world. It's our trigger. Though trigger has taken on a life of its own, many use it without referring to situations that take them back to a place of pain and trauma mentally, that they can manifest with physical side effects. A part of learning how to navigate those emotional waters is to understand that everyone is not aware of the trauma that somebody else is facing, that you're facing. No one should be held responsible for trauma that they did not involve. They were not involved in. Even when there's a communication dependent upon the trauma, a person shouldn't be asked to walk on eggshells or make themselves so small that the person traumatized can feel more comfortable. The thing is, those that love you will try to do the very thing until it becomes a source of trauma for them. Trauma can affect trust and responses to all different types of conflicts. Know that conflict is natural and even healthy. a part of every relationship. However, assumption is not. Hurt people hurt other people. It is so easy to see when hurt that is pushed on is physical or even more blatant. Assumptions can be a source of hurt. It's important that you understand that even when someone is in a trauma gripped space, they don't have the right to hurt other people or even disregard the pain that they did to them. And the reason why that is important is because assumptions at the very heart of the character of the person and their integrity. And if you ain't careful, you could find yourself accusing a family member of lying, stealing, negligence, or even abandonment that was purely created by the trauma that you're facing versus the actions committed by the parties involved. In your romantic relationships, there hasn't been healing from the trauma of abuse, abandonment, or pain from action that took place in a previous relationship. If no healing has happened, you may find yourself in the middle of some trauma that has resurfaced, causing you to make assumptions about your partner's behavior that ain't got no merit. That's a destructive place to be. Because in the moment that you totally believe the accusation or you feel it's made you have to defend so much. And this kind of an assumption leads to the traumatization and the pain of others at your hands. And that ain't the goal, but it's the outcome. One person is cut in a different way, and it make it hard for them to trust you emotionally. Even though they very well might understand your trauma, it's what's causing the situation. The thing is, it doesn't make the hurt less. It's unfair to tell them not to take it personal. When that is said, you are then dismissing somebody's pain that you care about because you might feel this is not as deep as yours. And you know that's not right. Avoid assumptions and accusations when you feel triggered. The cycle of hurt has to stop somewhere, and it can stop with you. Take the time to do the work to heal. You are so often encouraged to seek healing and self-care, but what is often left out is how painful that process can be. It's just like being in a physical rehab after a major surgery that you have to rebuild your body, and it's going to be painful in order for you to feel strong. Self-care and emotional healing is similar. And it can cause you to enter a space where you're able to be completely honest and accountable about the trauma and your path to heal. It might be best to table that confrontation until you are more balanced, so you can speak the right way from a position of truth versus through the lens of trauma. You owe it to yourself and those that you love not to inflict trauma when trying to work through trauma. It's going to be difficult, but you can do it. And when it comes to your mental health, there are so many different mindfulness practices out there that can help to relieve some of the symptoms that you have from either being in the yoga stance or journaling. If you just simply integrate those rituals into your daily routines, even breathing slowly or doing something like that. And if you can't, I'm not ashamed to say, maybe it's time for you to get some prescription medication for mental health. And that could be a game changer for you. It can also help you in regaining your life back. The stigma of taking medication when you need it because you have tried everything else. Have you ever thought about an imbalance that you may be having? You're not going to know that until you go to a professional. I'm not talking about somebody, a doctor that throws medicine at you. I'm talking about really getting yourself analyzed for real. And the reason why many of us people don't do that is because of the misinformation about how medication can help improve our mental health. It can reduce undesirable mental illness symptoms, from anxiety to depression, and it can improve your quality of life. Do you know that 8.3% of Black people are less likely than white people to use them? And it grows even bigger when it comes to Black women. Even though we have a 34% higher risk of depression, only half of us is going to go out and seek some mental health care. You feel me? Because, oh, I forgot we got that shit attached to us called strong Black woman. We don't get the help that we need sometimes. And there are a million ways that medication can support us in living to our fullest potential. But yet, we listen to what's going on externally to us and to shame us to seek that very support that we may need. Let me give you another fact. Black women between the ages of 18 and 65 have the highest suicide risk among women. That self-harm trend is going up in our Black community. I don't even care if you go to a holistic therapist or a licensed clinical social worker. It's the stigma that's within our own community, the pros and the cons to medication and more. And I know it all comes from historical mistrust of medical institutions. Hell, we were experimented on back in the day, and probably still today. But it's that lack of representation or understanding of mental health issues in our own community. It's important for us to understand and to know these things in our community. Stop making an assumption among your trauma that can be destructive. It's nothing wrong with having holistic remedies to enhance mental health and overall wellness. When medication is not your first choice. Natural methods aren't improving a client's quality of life, and additional support may be needed, especially if you have something that's persistent, something that's debilitating, that interfere with your daily life. And the lack of improvement from other interventions may indicate that you may need some medication, whether it's temporary or permanent, depending upon your own response in your own condition. Some of the pros include symptom relief and an improved quality of life. Some of the cons may include side effects and the need for ongoing management. Of course, you need to know what the hell you putting in your body, but also weigh the pros and the cons based upon your needs and your experience. Understand that seeking help is strength. It's not a weakness. Don't make the assumption amongst your trauma. You need to communicate openly with your loved ones about your needs and your experience, and seek support from mental health professionals who respect your cultural background. I can't tell you this enough. Engage in regular self-care, build supportive relationships, seek therapy, and practice stress management techniques if you have access to that. And if you don't get it, make sure that you prioritize your mental health as part of your overall well-being, and break that taboo of the use of medication for your mental health. You got to start somewhere. Get yourself assessed. If you need some help, get the help. And stop allowing these people to tell you something different. You know how you feel, and you know what you need. Get to somebody that you trust and say, yo, I need some help, Lil, for real. And allow them to point you in that direction. Ashe? All right. I'm getting off my soapbox today. Be well, stay safe. Ashe and deep bow to each and every one of you. And I shall see you all very, very soon.
I felt this before, and I can't afford to cry. I got work in the morning, I got bills, I got family ties. You're playing with the piece of me. I try not to reason with, not trying to make it clear. Wonder why you even here. Don't you know I can't be caught up on no bullshit. I don't got the time. Don't care who you with or what you're doing. I'm doing it right. Self-care, self-love, selfish. Self-care, self-love, selfish. And I want you to know that I did try my best with you.